All right, so they're getting money into the small businesses and need to move money. The battle between the markets is really severe with this going on.
Jay Powell's request to activate 13.3. This is a very important feature. The Fed will be setting up a special purpose vehicle that will purchase A1P1 commercial paper. The Treasury will be investing $10 billion of equity into that vehicle. That is a $1 trillion market. So we have now created stability for businesses that need to roll over their commercial paper, and for Americans that have money in money market funds that had commercial paper in them. We've created stability and liquidity in that market. I think it's unlikely that the Fed people need to take up all of that, but that's $1 trillion of liquidity if needed. The second thing I'd say is we clarified the IRS rules for deferral of tax payments. Again, I encourage people to file on April 15th because many people will have refunds. If you don't, you can request an extension. But if you file and you owe a payment, individuals and pass-throughs up to $1 million, you can defer that tax-free, interest-free, penalty-free, and corporations up to $10 million. Now, we just finished discussions at the president's request with the Republicans. I know there's been some rumors of the number. It is a big number. This is a very unique situation in this economy. We've put a proposal on the table that would inject $1 trillion into the economy. That is on top of the $300 billion from the IRS deferrals. Now, let me just say, this is a combination of loans. This is a combination of direct checks to individuals. This is a combination of creating liquidity for small businesses. So we look forward to working with the Senate. We're very pleased to hear the leaders say that they're staying here. Their priority is working on what we call Bill number 3. And we had very productive discussions. The president wants to emphasize this is a situation where we have requested that many people stay home so we don't spread this disease. This is not like a normal economic situation. The government has requested that parts of this economy shut down, and the president is determined. You can think of this as business interruption money. The president is determined we will put money back into this economy to protect hardworking Americans and small businesses.
Secretary Mnuchin, do you want the Senate to approve the House bill unchanged, number one? And number two, shouldn't the Congress also be concerned about rising deficits as you're proposing $1 trillion package here that Congress should?
I think Congress right now should be concerned about the American workers and small business. You know, interest rates are incredibly low, so there's very little cost of borrowing this money. And as I've said, in different times, we'll fix the deficit. This is not the time to worry about it. This is the time that hardworking Americans are impacted by government decisions. That's when the government has to step up to put money into the economy.
So what about passing the House bill unchanged? Should the Senate pass the House bill unchanged?
We're having conversations with them on that, and that's an ongoing discussion.
Can you talk about small business? What about the airlines and the cargo airlines?
Sure. I've had conversations round the clock with all the airline CEOs. I haven't had cargo, but we've had conversations. We obviously have a situation where there's very little traffic. We want to maintain that although we've told people non-essential travel they shouldn't do, but essential travel, we want to have airlines that operate, maybe on a more limited basis. Airlines have a short-term liquidity issue, and absolutely, that's something we talked about today. I've also spoken to the Speaker about that. So we are absolutely part of this. Airlines, hotel, travel, other areas, we're talking about dealing with that.
Secretary Mnuchin, is there any plans for a global economic stimulus? Are you in touch with other world leaders about a global stimulus?
Sure. The president had a G7 leaders conference call yesterday. Director Kudlow was a critical part of putting that together. There was a statement. One of the things they called for was further coordination with central bankers and finance ministers. We'll be having weekly calls of the G7 finance ministers and central bankers. And I think you know the Fed has been in ongoing discussions with their counterparts.
Can you talk about the bills, the direct checks that you guys are proposing for Americans?
Again, I don't want to go into the specifics where we're going to work with Congress on this, but the president wants to put money in the economy now. This is where if there are people and small businesses that can't make payroll because their business has ceased to exist. We've told people in restaurants, don't go into restaurants. We want to make sure that those business owners have money to pay their employees. We're not going to put money in those business owners just for the sake of them keeping it, but we're going to help them with liquidity to meet their payroll. Thank you,
guarantee that
everybody.
the stock market will stay open?
So there you are. Let's go back to what Fox News is saying on this other item. Again, this is Fox News, their bulletin, and Mnuchin is saying that the House is working to put $1,000 checks into most Americans within 3 weeks. There you are. We're going to let it go at that. Just watch Marshall Buildings, Montana. We're in a very unique situation. You should be preparing for further shutdowns. You should be preparing for using your money and funds wisely. You should know that this is probably going to start to end and ease up by the end of the month. And you should know that other things are going to move forward in April and turn things around. You're just going to have to hold on tight and work through these next 6 to 8 weeks. I'm sure most of this is going to be over and worked through within probably 8 to 10 weeks. We will see. That's what my inside sources are saying. Hopefully they are correct. Time will tell all more about this situation, no doubt about it. Again, this is Roger Martin from Billings, Montana. If you have the means and funds, you should be putting more cash aside. You should be getting out of debt. You should be buying some gold and silver coins. You should be buying extra food and so forth. We're working on the basics because they never go away. There'll always be need for food and fuel, silver and gold, cash, getting out of debt, and increasing your income supply if at all possible. Again, it's Roger Martin from Billings, Montana. Look at 7K metals and see what they can do for you. You should be purchasing some silver at least. Good day.